Hey guys, it's Mike Ball back here with a new battle. I've made a new rain team and I'm once again playing in the OU tier. I know it's been a few days since I've gotten a video out, so I'd like to apologise, and to try and make up for that I am showing two videos today. Two battles even, not two videos. Two battles in the one video. Now my new team is kind of based around this Crawdunt. Crawdunt is an OU Pokemon, so in OU he is very hard to work, but he is very enjoyable if you get him set up. Because of his adaptability, his stab moves do 2 damage, like by 2 damage, as opposed to 1.5 damage. And in rain, his water moves will be doing 2.5 damage, so he wrecks house with his already high attack. His speed is extremely lackluster, but the Dragon Dance is there to help that as well. Next I have my Dragonite, who has the Tailwind pretty much just to help Crawdunt. It also comes useful on himself for a while for outrunning Scarfed Pokemon and such, but with Crawdunt with the Tailwind up isn't too slow. Then Dragonite's running the other moves to take advantage of the rain, Hurricane and Thunder. Politoed is just a Specs Politoed to Hydro Pump everything in the rain for massive damage with a few other moves for coverage. Standard Stall Chansey, the only difference is, as opposed to Seismic Toss and then either Toxic or Thunder Wave, I'm running both Toxic and Thunder Wave because Thunder Wave will cripple more things as opposed to the small amount of damage Seismic Toss does, which I prefer. Then a Standard Fortress with the Rapid Spin Spikes, Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, and then a Life Orb Jolteon to Thunder, take advantage in the rain, some coverage moves, and that's pretty much my team there. Main aim of this team is to get Crawdunt doing stuff, so I'm going to jump into a first battle here. The first battle is not the best, but I really enjoyed the second battle, and I hope everyone enjoys it as well. Looking at this guy's team, potential leads could be, well, I'm not really sure, maybe Skarmory or Rotom I guess, maybe Alakazam, potentially, could be anything. And Mamoswine, of course, to get up rocks and such. I decide to stand against the Mamoswine, knowing it won't be able to one-hit me, and I go for the Hidden Power Grass, kind of expecting him to switch out into the Rotom. That doesn't really work as he goes for his rocks. On Specs, so I'll have to stay in with this now. And I figure he won't be able to get rid of me with one attack, and it'll be good to get the Mamoswine out of the way, even if it does cost some damage. But the one thing I was not expecting him was to be carrying the Endeavor, which is a rare move because it's not really all that useful. It worked for him in this point, but it's not really the most useful move in general. Now here I switch into my Fortress because it's an absolute tank. He gets the crit on the Mach Punch. The crit doesn't really make much difference because I still take it like a boss. And I just Stealth Rock here as he begins bulking up, I believe, if I am correct. This will go on for a couple of turns, him bulking up, while I go from my spikes, I think, or no, I Rapid Spin first and get rid of his rocks as his Mamoswine's dead, and getting rid of rocks will be a massive help at this point. And then I get up one layer of spikes now before he KOs me on the next turn. I wasn't really all that worried about him getting the bulk ups because I figured I can just bring in my Dragonite and Hurricane him to death in one turn, as it gives no special defense boost, and Hurricane is a massively powerful move. An amazing Pokemon. So that gets rid of his Conkeldurr, so I've had a decent enough start. It's now a 5-4 match, fairly tight, but I feel as if I have the bit of the advantage here with how it's going. I decide to Tailwind here because I'm not really sure what Staraptor's going to do, as he just U-turns out, so my move was probably the best as I get my Tailwind up, meaning I outspeed everything in his team. Now there's a bit of fun hacks here, as I go for the Hurricane hoping to get the confuse on him, as I do, so he goes for the Thunder Wave and paralyzes me. Now I decide to begin thundering here because it'll do more damage than the Hurricane, hoping he'll hit himself in confusion a couple of times. But he gets the confuse around me, and I go for the Thunder and get the paralyze on him, meaning we're both confused and paralyzed, which is, I find that to be quite humorous. Kind of am expecting him to expect me to switch out, and I can't thought he'd go for the Thunder Wave again. I decide to go into my Jolteon, but in the end it doesn't make a difference as he gets confused. So I just go for the Thunder and get rid of him easily enough. Now I figure I'll be fairly safe for Jolteon to take out most of this team, as he brings in Staraptor. I'm not used to seeing Staraptors, so I wasn't really sure what it could do. I decided to Volt Switch out, I think, or no, yeah, I just Thundered, because massive damage. But I was kind of surprised that Staraptor outspeeds me, and he's not Scarfed or anything, because as you can clearly see the Life Orb recoil, so that was kind of surprising. He goes for the double edge here again on my Dragonite, and I just Thunder him to death, meaning he still has a chance here now, but it's heavily in my favor, as I just either Thunder or Hurricane here again, or maybe Tailwind to try to set up someone else. Yeah, no, he forfeits anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. Maybe he forfeited a bit prematurely, but yeah, I suppose he could consider it have been pretty much game over at that point. It was a decent enough game though, enjoyable game, he played well, could have gone either way really. Now this game that's coming up here is one that was quite a good game, I felt. It had a lot of setting up attempts and sweeping attempts, but it was good. But looking at this guy's team anyway, the thing I was expecting to lead was kind of the Ninjask to get the speed boost, and then Baton pass it out to someone, which is always a pain. So I decided to go into my Dragonite so I could get the Tailwind up and then bring in something else, preferably my Crodont. I mean, setting up with him, meaning he wouldn't really be able to sweep me. But he starts off with his Kingdra, kind of fearing the Outrage. I switch into my Chansey to take the hit. As he begins Dragon Dancing and setting up, I go for the Thunder Wave to paralyze him, and I go out here into my Fortress, figuring they'll wall the Kingdra fairly well, and I'll just get my rocks up anyway. Cause they're I Gyro Ball first, do I? Yeah, I do Gyro Ball first as he rests, which doesn't work. Then I switch out, do I? Or do I put my rocks up? Thought I put my rocks up. No, I switch out into my Politoed here anyway, as he gets paralyzed, which is handy for me. There's a lot of paralyzation in this game, and that played a big factor in the end, as you will see. But I decide to Focus Blast because it would do the most damage, seeing as it's non-resisted and a Focus Blast, but he outrages and kills me on the first turn, which was kind of unfortunate that he didn't get to paralyze there, which would have been nice, but oh well, what can you do? So I bring in Jolteon here because I figured Jolteon will still outspeed him, seeing as he's paralyzed with the 2 speed bonus, meaning he's not much faster than regular speed, and Jolteon's very fast. So I've Volt Switch out anyway, go into my Fortress, seeing as he's locked into the Outrage, which is still doing way too much damage for my liking. And now I decide to get up my rocks to because rocks are always useful for things switching in, taking damage. As he's now confused, I begin getting up spikes anyway. He's not locked into Outrage anymore, so I don't actually get up any more spikes as he waterfalls, which is kind of annoying, but not really all that surprising. I know I definitely outspeed now, so I just go for the Thunder to safely kill off this Kingdra and finally get rid of that. Not exactly the best start, with him doing way too much damage to my team in general, but got rid of the Kingdra anyway, and that's always good. He brings in his Ninjask here, which takes massive amount of damage from the Stealth Rocks, but knowing he's just going to begin subbing, or protecting, I figure I'll vault switch, and if he subs, I break the sub, which I do, and that's good. And I go into my Dragonite here to set up the Tailwind, I believe, this time again, because I don't want whatever he Baton Passes to be outspeeding me all too easily. Now that I've got the Tailwind up, I just begin Hurricaning. You see Baton Passes out into his Lucario now, and my Hurricane will break the sub this turn, but it means he pretty much got a free switch in with his Lucario, so that's not really the best for me. I'm not running too many speed investments in this Dragonite. He's more of a defensive variant, to be honest, but I get the Hurricane. It doesn't quite kill, and I think I just decide to gamble and go for a Roost here, figuring if I live, I'll get back to, if he misses attack, I mean, I'll get back to full health and within multi-scales, so that'll be good. And if he doesn't, well, he'll kill me anyway, so I figured Roost was the safest move to go for now. Now I bring in my Jolteon, and I figure I'll just Thunder away here. Because Thunder can't miss in the rain, and will easily kill him. He reveals he's carrying the extreme speed, which kind of sucks. That means my Jolteon can only get off one more hit before dying from Life Orb Recoil against this Amoonguss, however you pronounce it. I go for the Hidden Paralyze, which does good damage to him, around half, but it's really not looking good for me at this point, as he has 4 Pokemon left. I only have 2, one of which is a Oryu Pokemon, and the other which doesn't carry any attacks. And I realise at this point my only chance is to set up with my Crawdaunt, which is not an easy thing to do against this Amoonguss, but I bring in my Crawdaunt here as he gets paralysed, luckily for me. I know I have to get 3 Dragon Dances up to outspeed everything in his team, and if I can get them up, I will win this game. Now luckily for me, he gets paralysed again, but the thing is, Crawdaunt's defenses are paper thin, so even a defensive Pokemon like Amoonguss will do massive damage if it hits. But he gets paralysed twice, then he gets the Giga Drain, and I live with something like 4% health, which was amazing since I got the 3 Dragon Dances up. Now I can just crunch and kill the Amoonguss. He brings in his Dragonite. I figure I'll just keep on crunching because it's more accurate than Crab Hammer, and it's safer seeing as he doesn't resist it. Dragonite doesn't resist crunch, so I'm better off going for it. Brings in Gengar now. I barely outspeed this, I think, with the 3 boosts. I mean, if it hadn't been Scarfed, it would have been able to outspeed and kill me. I think I barely outspeeded with 3 boosts. That's how bad Crawdaunt's speed is. He's just going to bring in his Ninjask, and it's going to die straight away from Stealth Rocks. But that was a good battle. I enjoyed it. The Crawdaunt sweep is so much fun, especially with an Oryu Pokemon sweeping an OU team. It's very enjoyable. But please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Mike Ball, signing out. Bye.